we are all coming from the same place, which is humanity and human experience. We're like anyone else. And it just so happens that we have this part of us that is different from many other people, but we're not looking for special treatment. Transphobic people and conservative people who focus on the fact that they think we want special treatment, like it holds us back. And really, we just want to be treated like everyone else.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to She Comes With Baggage. I'm so excited you're here. We were just talking about this when you came in. We met at the GLAAD Media Awards. And I immediately was like, I like you. It's like your energy is amazing. I was like, let's be friends. And so this is our third time seeing each other, because we then also saw each other
at a premiere.
At a premiere. Yeah. Wait, I love it. It's very serendipitous. God. You know what I mean? It's one of those things in LA where you don't see people, and then once you see them once, you see them everywhere.
Literally. And then I saw someone else who I saw at the GLAAD Awards at that premiere too.
Really?
But I had never seen you before.
Yeah, right. Isn't that? I don't know how that works, but I think life is just coordinating our paths to keep crossing. So I'm happy you're here.
I think
so excited to dive into everything. Yes. I know you're LA based.
I am.
Correct? Okay.
And I'm from LA.
Would you consider yourself like LA girly? You're like 100% West Coast.
100%.
Tell me about that. Okay.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in the Valley.
Okay.
And my family, my two dads now live in Calabasas.
Okay.
And so I'm always going back and forth there. And I lived in New York, actually, because I went to NYU for 4 years.
Yeah.
And 3.5. I graduated early. But
look at you. Okay.
And then I was like, the snow.
Yeah.
My mental health was not having it.
Yep. You like seasonal depression.
Yeah, seasonal depression. Well, the thing is, I have depression, but then the seasonal part.
Yeah. So
we'll
just like
add to
another layer of depression. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, no. And so I immediately flew back and I moved to the Valley again.
Okay.
It's just the best.
I've been here like going on 3 years now, but I think you might be like the fifth person I've met that's actually from LA.
Really?
Everyone like you, that's rare, right? I feel like you don't really meet that many.
Rare breed. Yes.
So talk to me about your dads and your family, because I think that's amazing. And I would love to hear about how having two dads was also an impact on your perception of love and family and all the things.
Yeah. Well, first of all, before we start answering the questions, I know about my nails. So whoever's watching, I know.
There will be someone in the comment section, so you're like calling it out before anyone else.
Like the other hand's great, so I'm going to talk with this hand.
Got it.
Cool.
To be fair, I have none. So
and you know what? Like at least I wish that the ones that went away were like together. So at least I could have like some sort of like an excuse,
right.
But no.
Yeah. You're like next time you can just pull off a third. No. It's like,
you know what? You know what?
You're like pull it off and go flying.
But yes, my family. So I do have two gay dads now.
Okay.
And they are incredible. So one of them is my biological dad. The other one is my stepdad.
Okay.
And the way that came about is I was born into a family with my biological mom and dad, with a brother, my older brother. A lot of shit went down.
Okay, yes.
Basically, when I was 7, my mom and dad divorced. Okay. And it was one of those, like, it wasn't amicable at all. It was very, like, we're really going to get into it. But it was a lot of, like, breaking windows, a lot of, like, stealing things, like my mom stealing from my dad, and this all these crazy things, a lot of court stuff.
Okay, very hostile environment.
Very hostile environment. Okay. And so when I was 7, my biological dad met my stepdad when we moved into Calabasas. And I remember we were on vacation one day. My now stepdad was always coming with us. Okay. And at the time it was like, oh, my dad said, oh, this is my best friend, or this is my whatever. Then he sat us down. He said, guys, to me and my brother, he said, he's not just a friend. Okay. And we were like...
He was like heavy on the air quotes.
Yeah. Best friend. And the rest is history. Okay. Honestly, yeah, so.
And how is that with you? Was that an easy, seamless transition into having two dads? Or what was that like? Because I know that is something... The rhetoric of having queer parents and the traditional family versus an untraditional, air quotes, traditional versus untraditional, it's a controversy that I just never will understand. I think, I would love to hear what that perception of love was for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, my dad says, I don't remember this, but my dad says that I did not have the best reaction.
Okay.
Again, I was 9. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was not about the fact that like my dad fell in love with another man. It was
Okay.
not about that, because I think I was on the brink of coming out as gay myself.
Okay.
At that age. So I was like, that was
Right.
fine. I think it was more of the idea that
Okay.
my dad found someone new.
Yeah.
I think very quickly got over it.
Yeah. I mean, that's
And
great.
then from there, it was, wow, I really prefer being with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest with like my mom kind of ended up happening. And I found that I really preferred to be with my dad and my stepdad. So.
That's beautiful. And I mean, I don't know, like with me and with my family, it's a difficult, it's a whole other hour, but
Yep.
just being able to have access to seeing true authenticity with the parents is almost rare, I feel like. I mean, we talk about all the time that, we're living this one life, and sometimes it's hard to forget that our parents are also living their first life,
I know,
right? And so in so many ways, they also deserve to live an authentic, beautiful life full of love and finding who they want to be with and their soulmate. So I feel like it's just really, it's nice that you've been able to have that in your relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your brother. Older? Younger?
Older.
Okay.
Older. Year and a half older.
What's your relationship like with him? And also, I would love to learn about chosen family and what that means to you as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, like I was saying, with the divorce with my mom and dad was not fun.
Yep.
And I ended up running away from my mom a few times. But the problem is my brother was sort of caught in the crossfire.
Okay.
And he was under the impression, because of my mom, that my mom was like the most perfect person.
Okay.
And, anyone who disagreed with her is not on his team or her team. And it sucks because we grew up, I think, being really close and playing together all the time. And then things happened and we sort of just trauma happened. And, I don't want to go too deep into his story without him being here, but I think that he already had the cards stacked against him.
Okay.
And then plus the trauma of all this.
Sure.
Kind of made him afraid of family.
That makes sense.
And just sort of angry about family in general.
Yeah.
And so what's great is that he's been getting better.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah, but I would love to have a real relationship with him one day.
I think that's also interesting too, because like my two sisters live in Tennessee. I'm from Tennessee originally.
Oh my God, love.
Totally different
history
area.
of
It's
music
beautiful.
there.
Oh, the music is
my
great.
God.
Nashville's amazing. I was born in Memphis too, so you have the jazz and the blues, and it's
And you have
beautiful.
Elvis.
And Elvis and all of that. There's a lot of history.
Huge Elvis fan.
I just wish that the mindset was different in Tennessee, but again, that's different unpacking there. But my sisters, I've been in no contact with my mom for about 4 years now, and that was a decision I need to make on my own, because it was a situation where it was very mentally draining and exhausting for me to keep putting my energy into, and unsafe for me as well. So I think for me to know that my sisters are still very close with her, that's been something I had to get through my mind. But I've also, I love a self-help book, and
Yep.
I was reading that no two children had the same parents. So their experience with my mom and my dad was a very different experience that I had. So I tried to find some grace with that, because I feel like it was difficult for a long time for me to kind of be like, wow, y'all get to have a relationship, but I don't. But
and you were like, what? Like, what is it about me or something?
Yeah.
And but at the end of the day, it wasn't about you. It was about your relationship to them.
Exactly. So talk to me about chosen family, because I know we have your friend here,
Yes,
and
we
y'all
do.
have been best friends since you were 9.
Since I was 9. Since we were 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay.
Crazy. And I mean, I'm going to be aging myself if I say it, but whatever. We're approaching 19 years of
amazing.
friendship, which is crazy. And I think it's difficult sometimes, especially for queer people, to bring your childhood friends with you through life. Sometimes, it's easy for those to fall through. I mean, for anyone, but you never know if your childhood friends will accept you or whatever the case is. And so I don't have many from that time in my life, at least that I'm close with. And so she's been huge. And I have my chosen family who I met in New York when I went to NYU.
When you had seasonal depression. Yeah, that's good. You got
right.
you through it.
When I was considering getting that sunlight lamp, you know what I mean? They're still in New York, but they're amazing. My friend Matt Bernstein, who's a creator. And my first cousin, Adam Eli, who's also a creator, both of whom inspired me to do what I'm doing today.
Amazing.
And
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
so
beautiful.
chosen family is huge.
It is huge. And it's kind of what you mentioned before about you don't really know, as you're going through this self-discovery journey, as we all do, as you're going through that self-discovery journey, if they're going to accept you fully. And that's always terrifying.
Yeah.
What was your coming out story like? What was that experience?
Oh my God.
I'm like, she comes with baggage. Tell me everything.
Yes. Okay. So I was bullied a lot in middle school, and I'm not saying that to just woe is me, but there was this one kid who would continuously come after me, and he was the popular kid. I mean, I think we can look back on that and be like, why were you so interested in me?
Yeah. We should have him on and talk about it.
Oh God, I know. But he would always pull chairs out from under me, make fun of the hair, whatever the case was. And so I got really fed up with it. And one day literally on Facebook, when my parents didn't even know I had one because I made it secretly, they wouldn't let me. I came out on Facebook. I was like, oh, by the way, guys, I'm gay. So if you don't accept that, F you, is what I said. Just on a Facebook status.
Amazing.
And then I went to school the next day, and my mom called my dad and this whole thing. And my dad was already out as gay to me. He was like, whatever about it.
But they found it. They found it on your secret. So your account wasn't so secret.
I know. I think maybe someone I went to school with told her parents, who then talked about it to my, I don't know. Yeah. Something. And then, the next day, I went to school, and all the bullies quieted down. I was like, yeah, because people can't bully you for the things you take ownership of. Yeah. Otherwise, they just look weird.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and they prey on your insecurities, and if you're not insecure about it, then what do they have to prey on?
Oh yeah.
So I came out, and then I'm pretty sure it was after I came out that same bully was making fun of me again. I had apple juice in my lunchbox, and I poured it on his head while he was making fun of me.
Okay.
And then he got all physical and stuff. But the problem is I got suspended for doing that, but then he got suspended for bullying me.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought you were gonna say that he professed his love.
Oh my God! Imagine.
I was like, that was the moment.
Imagine. No, but I mean, he had me in a little bit of a chokehold, and I was like, "Are you about to kiss me?" We were in middle school, but I mean.
I was romanticizing that. That's not. We're not condoning bullying. Okay.
We're not condoning bullying. He was suspended too. Okay. Yes. And the teachers would come up. Yes, he deserved it. The teachers came up to me and were like, "Look, I know we have to suspend you, but good job."
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I feel like with children and kids, we grow up with these big imaginations and wanting to just be, and in a lot of ways. We experience our own bullies are usually our parents or maybe someone in the family, the first bullies that you're interacted with, and then you learn those traits, and then they go to school and they put that on other people and they project that. And I hate that you had that experience. I feel like it's terrible, especially because that's a time when you shouldn't be having to go through that. And so I'm happy that he got his justice, and I hope he learned his lesson.
I hope so too. Yeah. And it's funny because this is all before I came out as trans. That was me coming out as gay.
Okay.
As a gay boy.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I love what you just said about the parents and kids learning the traits from them and the beliefs, because I always forget there was this one kid who I was close with him for a few months in middle school, and I remember his parents found out I was gay, and he was like, and then he told me that his parents didn't want me hanging out with me a lot. Well, didn't want him hanging out with me a lot because they were worried that he would become gay.
Really? Okay.
I was like, what?
And so then that
just
is gonna
me.
And that's what's gonna be pushed onto their kid, and then they might not understand why they feel that way towards queer people too. It's just it's a generational trauma.
Really
whether it's just emotional, mental, or psychological. I still think it's passing down these beliefs that are only harming people and their friends, right? So I wish that it was a different experience than that, but I'm hoping that things are changing.
Gen Z
now,
is
right?
so they strong are now.
Yeah.
Is so they're yeah, no, fuck you.
Yeah. Honestly, I love that about Gen Z. I do feel like Gen Z is what you said before. They own their insecurities, and then no one can make fun of them, right?
Yeah.
They go in with pimple patches and all this stuff, and I'm like, if I would have worn a pimple patch when I was in high school, I would have been ostracized. I would have been out. They would have kicked me out.
It's that image of the pimple patches, the braces, the pigtails, the big glasses with huge magnification, and backpack too big. That's the image I get.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I love that for them though.
I'm older Gen Z, and I'm so proud of that. No shade to millennials, but I do think millennials can be kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm proud that like I will go out with a pimple patch. Yeah, like I love that.
No, I'm a millennial, and we definitely had our fair share of.
You feel so Gen Z to me.
Do I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
It's the Botox.
love a good lip filler too.
It's a lip filler. Yeah, it's a lip filler.
Yes. I love. But that was coming out as gay.
Okay.
So coming out as trans
Okay.
was in college. Okay. And I came out a very similar way because there was this, they were definitely foreign tourists in New York.
Okay.
And they were walking around. I remember I was dressing kind of androgynously, especially for an AMAB person, like assigned male at birth person who, if I wore like nails or a little bit of makeup, people were like, what?
Yeah.
They noticed it, and maybe in their country, wherever they were from, I can only imagine that maybe it wasn't as accepted as it was or is in the US, although that's debatable. And so I remember I got so upset. Similarly to my bullies in middle school, I go back to my dorm room. I huddle with my like roommates at the time, and I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna come out.
Okay.
And I'd already come out to the people closest to me, well, most of them. And then I just changed all of my names, my usernames to Madison.
Okay. On social media.
On
and
social
everything.
media.
Okay.
And then I posted this one random selfie I took that day, and I was like, this is my coming out photo.
Wait, I love this.
It was like hello world, I'm Madison, or something.
Amazing.
Something like that.
Okay, but you know what? I actually came out on Facebook too.
Oh,
it's easier. You know what? I was like, post it up. I don't want to look at you.
Everyone sees it.
I don't want to talk to you. I think I even dropped a YOLO at the end of it. I'm a millennial. Okay.
Yes, and I dropped an FU.
I was like, I'm gay. What are you gonna do about it? YOLO! Exclamation point like 3 times.
Yes.
Posted it, and I'm pretty sure I haven't seen most of those people again, but that's okay. I feel like it was just an easy way to just bloop, put it out there.
It is. How old were you?
I probably was like 20, I think. Yeah.
I love it.
So it was an interesting. I thought for me it was a good just like canon event. Like just go for it.
Just one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone else can deal with it however they want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you have an earliest memory of maybe if you didn't even recognize it then, but now looking back on identifying as trans?
Actually, yes, and my friend is going to attest to this. She knows what I'm going to say. The leather pants. So, okay.
She's nodding.
Yeah. So there was this one pair of leather pants from Zara that were like motorcycle pants. They had all these zippers on them.
Okay.
And I remember Kylie Jenner, who I was an early fan of. Okay. And I do claim that in terms of like her style and stuff.
Yeah.
Like 2016, yeah. And then also Beyonce wore the same ones.
Okay.
And I just thought they were so cool. I found them at Zara in store, put them on. I was like, these are the best things I've ever worn. But they were technically in the women's section.
Okay.
And they were technically like faux leather leggings.
Okay.
That had all this detailing on them. And I was like, okay, but I'll just get them in like a bigger size so they look a little bit more frumpy and less legging like.
Okay. Yep.
And I would wear them every day so much that I had to get a new pair and a new pair because they kept wearing out. And then that was like a gateway for me of like, oh, like I like this other kind of women's item. And it's not all about the clothes, of course, but that was like my introduction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, oh, why, when I'm at these stores, my friends who are girls are trying on bras that I think are so cute.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And I was jealous. And then I think a few months before I came out, I had a moment where I was like, you know what? Some days I wake up and I don't know if I want to wear boy clothes or girl clothes.
Okay.
And I don't know if I want to wear lip liner or nothing or whatever, just experimenting with these feminine things. And I think it all came together of why I enjoyed these things and never aligned with being on the boys' team or really boys' side of anything.
Yep.
And I had very rare of me to have boy friends.
Okay.
Well, okay, no, look, I had boyfriends.
Boyfriends.
Well,
mashed together?
Yeah, boyfriends mashed together, but like I don't know if it was like official. I just had a lot of those.
Okay, yeah.
But not friends who were boys.
Okay,
I only had a couple of those throughout
Yeah.
my life. So yeah, and then it just all came together and it just
Well, I think it's with fashion, it is a form of self-discovery in so many ways, and there's a creative expression, right?
Yes.
It's for me when I was growing up, everybody was like, I was a tomboy. I was like very much. Let me
Were
dress.
you? I
Yeah.
can't see that.
This is not even me. I just no.
Yeah.
And growing up, I loved to play sports. I had a lot of guy friends, so it was opposite actually. But then as I was going into middle school, I started getting more of you have to dress this way. You have to dress like a girl. You have to put on makeup. You have to put on heels. And I was like, you're never gonna have a boyfriend. I was like, do I even want one? I don't want a boyfriend. Why do I have to? Why is everyone telling me this? And it wasn't just the girls or the boys in school, but it was also parents. It was also his family being like, how old are you? You're 10 years old. Where's your boyfriend? I'm like, ew, you know what I mean?
When you're
Where
10?
I'm like, yeah, like that's Tennessee for you. You know what I mean? You're married by 17 and with 2 kids on the way. So and I think it really confused me because it felt in a way forced that I had to dress like this, but it never felt right. And then when I came out, I started being back to myself. And this is almost like the little me again, where I get to dress. And it's like you mentioned, there's a feeling that of being like you belong. And I don't think that that's just in spaces. I think that's also the clothes that you wear and like how that makes you feel. Yeah. Would you say that once you started to dress more aligned with yourself, there was like a liberation to that?
I think so. There was a liberation. There was also an anxiety.
Okay.
Because I think there's a huge moment or not moment because it can last years, but a time in gender transition where you moved on from who you were presenting as, but you're nowhere near where you want to be. And you're in this liminal in between space. Okay. And I was in that where I had some feminine clothes, whatever. So I was expressing it, but it was this balance of like, I feel good knowing that this is who I am and knowing that it's so far from who I know how I want to represent myself. Yeah. I was like, I feel so horrible. Yeah. But I knew that it was worth it. Okay. And I love what you were saying about the clothes and like now you're sort of reclaiming that like the energy that you had before and like being a tomboy. And I, as of the last year or so, have been on a journey trying to reclaim my boy clothes. Okay. And finding that I have like a whole folder on my computer of like links to boy clothes that like exact ones I used to wear on eBay and Depop and everything because I'm like, I want to wear those again. Yeah.
Well, I do think that that's what I love so much about the fashion industry and trends right now is baggy pants are in, baggy shirts are in, hats on. I'm like, this is my era. And also now it's trendy for guys to wear pearl necklaces. And I'm like, no, I can wear a pearl necklace.
You know what? Guys in pearl necklaces are so hot. Like, I know, like why do you think I'm like wearing this like fake pearl necklace right now? You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I like, and going back to Gen Z, I do think that they're breaking these molds where it can be more of an androgynous situation and it's fine and it's normalized. And I think that is amazing to feel like you can also go back and find new creative expression, reclaiming what it is that you truly just feel good in. Because like, I think that's also something about labels and getting so far into a label that once you get there, you can't actually just change with fashion and change with trends. And if it makes you feel good, do it. You know what I mean? So exactly. I think queer people are so good at reclamation and just, taking back what we either feel was taken from us or what we feel we weren't allowed to do. Yeah, absolutely. We're really good at that.
So if someone was listening in right now and maybe they're going through their first steps of self-discovery, what would be a piece of advice that you would give them?
Ooh, I would say be patient. And there's no end goal here except for the end goal that you want to set. And I think when I came out and when I was in early days of my transition, it was like right on the brink of when trans representation was really blowing up. So I wasn't there yet, but I had Orange is the New Black with Laverne Cox. And then between that, I only had Gigi Gorgeous's documentary movie that she put out on YouTube. Okay. And in between those things, like that's all I had. Oh, and Nikita Dragon. Okay. So those 3 things. And otherwise I was like, what am I going to do? And Gigi and Nikita, from what I gathered online, had like all the surgeries done from what I knew at the time. And, had all of like just were so overtly feminine in the way that they wanted, but I thought that that's what I had to do. Okay. And so I wish I knew that you don't have to do any of that unless you want to, and there's no timeline. Yep. No end goal except for the one that you set for yourself. Like you said, it's a journey, right? And even no matter who it is or what you're going through, self-discovery is something that we're gonna experience that every single day of our lives, right? Would you say that you also now have experiences with misogyny and all the backlash that you get as trans misogyny, meaning like misogyny against trans women in the way that it's misogyny and not just transphobia. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. Absolutely. And how do you navigate that? Apple juice on the forehead. Oh my God, no. And that, like, you know what? Like, I'm so proud of that. I don't care what anyone says. That was so cool.
It's iconic.
The biggest thing I notice is that the moment you walk into a room, women are viewed differently instantly, and I think are viewed particularly by cis straight men as like, how pretty are you? And if you're pretty, can I hit on you? Or can I... It's all about sexualization, all about how pretty you are.
Yeah. Like an objectification.
Objectification, yes. I don't like any of that. The only time I like it is when there's a cute guy and he's like, "Oh, do you just check me out?"
Yeah, and you're like,
"Okay, maybe."
me?
But like, maybe that's just like, you know, like respectful, like like looking, you know. But there's so many moments when it's not cool, and you're also followed by random men all the time.
Oh my God.
And walking down the street at night is so different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So different.
It's definitely, like you said, the safety aspect changes. If there was something that you wish people understood more about what it means to be trans, what would it be?
We're like anyone else. And it just so happens that we have this part of us that is different from many other people, but we're not looking for special treatment. Transphobic people and conservative people who focus on the fact that they think we want special treatment, like it holds us back, and really we just want to be treated like everyone else. And the only time that trans people, or at least in my experience, ever need to feel like, you know, respected in a way that's different from cis people is that just knowing that we might have dysphoria, knowing we have a different relationship with gender, and making space for that. But that's it, at least for me. I mean, and if you can make space for that, you can make space for so many things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's and it comes down to a conversation as well. And I think
conversation.
I think that it's like the minute we can sit and talk with people. I feel like right now, especially with the world being very heavy, to say the least, a lot of times, like for me, for example, being in Tennessee, I'm now hearing a lot of terrible rhetoric from my own family members, and I'm literally I'm like.
And you're like,
and no, I'm literally like, don't mess with me. Anyways, but on a serious note, I think it made me realize that this has always been there. They've always had these thoughts. That it's just more, they feel more encouraged to speak on it now.
To speak on it.
Yeah, and my first question, you know, whenever they have something either anti-LGBTQ, anti-non-binary, anti-pronouns, anti-trans existence, it's like, my first question is always like, how many people do you know of that existence? How many people have you sat down with just like this and had a conversation with? Because I guarantee you, if you did that, you would find out that you're more alike than you are different. You probably have the same coffee order. You probably love listening to the same music. And for me, I think a lot of times people... they fear what they don't understand. And the minute that you allow yourself to understand and just lead with curiosity versus hate, I feel like that's when you can actually, you know, end up, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It just drives me crazy.
No, me too. And like, I wish I could talk to those people and just say like, guys, it's actually not that complicated. It's not that big of a deal. It's just all of the fear mongering and also I think a lot of rhetoric on both sides. Both extremes are just making it worse for us and making it worse for everyone.
Right.
In my opinion, I think with the introduction in 2016 of Trump's rhetoric, which, you know, of course was always there, but I think people felt empowered to share it, like you were saying. I think with the introduction of that empowerment came a lot of extremism on both sides. And look, I'm as liberal as they come, but when I see extremism where like on one end it's like people get so upset when someone gets the pronoun wrong and they have every right to be upset, but like I just wish that they would consider the source. Is this person wanting to help and wanting to be there with you, or are they actually transphobic? And I wish that there was more nuance for that.
Absolutely.
And on the conservative side, I wish that they would realize that like, guys, this fear mongering is so not worth it. We're such a small part of the population. Like and I think they're coming head to head.
I agree. And I agree. And I think that, to your point, having dialogue and conversations is the only way to get past that, really. I would love to talk to you about religion. And I would love to talk to you about, because you are Jewish, right?
I'm proudly.
Huge advocate.
Yes.
I would love to talk to you about what that means to you.
Thank you. Yes. I think... So I went to Jewish school my whole life, like from preschool to high school. And I went to a Jewish high school literally in the Valley. And Then I went to college, and my language at NYU was Hebrew.
Okay.
I know a lot of people took like Spanish or French, and I was like, well, Hebrew. I mean, I was learning it.
Yeah.
And it was simultaneously, since I went to so much Jewish school, I became a little numb to it. I was like, yeah, well, this is life. Okay, cool. And therefore, I didn't realize just how much anti-Semitism there is in the world because I was around so many Jews.
Yeah.
At the same time, I, of course, am proud to be Jewish, and it was like so normal to me.
Yeah.
But I think over the last couple of years, I've forced myself to really face what being Jewish in the world means for Jews and for other people in the world, and what anti-Semitism looks like or doesn't look like.
Yeah.
There's just so much that so much Jewish history that I dove into trying to understand more than what I was taught or more than I remembered.
Right. Well, I guess it goes to what we were just talking about, leading with curiosity, because I think a lot of ways that's where I'm just always trying to humble myself and remember that I don't have all the answers. And even though I am in beautiful communities constantly, and I'm very grateful to be able to travel for work a lot of times and meet people from all different backgrounds, there's still going to be more for me to learn. And I think I think it's really amazing that, you already grew up with this. You went to school and you went and learned the language. And on top of that, you were still like, how can I be more curious? I think that's really beautiful and something to be celebratory over, because I think a lot of times we get to a certain point in our learnings, whether it's religion or ethnicity or self-discovery or whatever, and we just stop.
Yeah.
And we stop asking questions, and we stop putting ourselves in other people's shoes in different lenses. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
And what I do know is that I wish that people would see that the Jews want to exist, and so do the Arab Muslims, and so do any Muslim, and so do anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
We just want to live
Yeah.
without threat.
Yeah. Also, you've mentioned a couple things that I'm noticing too is trans existence is a level of safety that you're worried about, being a woman and how that feels about safety. Being openly and proudly Jewish is about safety, and I think it's a sad statement, but also one that is worth talking about. How all of these things are who you are, but there's a lot of there's so much intersectionality. Yeah, absolutely, but also there's a lot of fear of safety with all of that, and I'm like, that needs to stop. I'm also curious, especially being LGBTQ plus. I think a lot of people have had experiences with religious trauma or spirituality trauma. Is that ever been something that you've experienced and had to find what Jewish religion means to you, or how do you still celebrate queerness with also your religion?
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, of course it does. Of course it does. Well, I think this goes for all religion. There are certain factions of it that are more accepting and the ones that aren't. And I think in Judaism, just like any other religion, there is that. And so there's like Hasidic Judaism, which is very strict and very religious, and Orthodox Judaism, which I think is like one step at least below that.
Okay.
But so there it does exist, of course, and we know of people who have Jewish trans people who have gone through that, and it's been horrible. But my experience with the Jewish faith in general, and the majority of it, is that you're welcome to practice as much or as little as you want, or as that you feel comfortable with, and take the Jewish laws with you as you see fit to guide your life as just being a good person. Yeah. And so I'm grateful that I actually haven't experienced.
Okay, that's good.
Really, I don't have religious trauma.
I love that.
Which is such a crazy thing to say as a queer person.
And it's amazing. And I think that's ultimately the point, right? Like that should be something that we should all be able to say. So I think that's an incredible message to hear, because I think sometimes as the LGBTQ plus community, it's almost hard to even look at religion or hear about it or listen to different stories, because we've dealt with that. And so I want to talk to you about social media and your advocacy.
Actually, before we go to that point, I'm so sorry. I just thought of something while you were talking about religion. Last thing is that, and this is also something I've been recently learning. Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like it'd be so good to get this out there.
Please.
Look, I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic, but from my understanding is that there's the idea of original sin and being born into sin. And I think one of the reasons why maybe I've felt less religious trauma at all, if at all, is that the Jews believe that we're born perfect.
Okay.
And so any mistake that we make is one that we try to rectify.
Okay.
But as we're all born like just who we are and perfect.
Yeah.
And so we're not born with that original sin of feeling guilty in that way.
Okay.
And so I feel like that also might play into a role into why maybe I just feel less religious trauma.
Well, I think that's a beautiful point. And it's something that I didn't even know to that extent. And I think that is a way for people to learn and be more open-minded about the different opportunities that are available to them and different languages on how to speak to a higher power. Because I think that is sometimes, I was born Christian Baptist. And so Baptist is, like you were saying before, one of the more strict tiers. And my rebellious ass was like, again, I'm like,
I love that.
Like, don't tell me what to do. Like, don't make fun of my friends.
Yeah.
And so for me, I started questioning very early on, and I wanted to take as many notes as I could and absorb as many different languages or religions as I could, because I thought that there were beautiful things about every religion. And I think what you just mentioned was just beautiful, because I do agree. I do agree that we are all born perfect. We are meant to live this life.
Yes.
It is destined, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And so, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about how that started and how that segued into activism, because you're a huge activist, advocate. Tell me about your journey into social media and why is that a passion for you?
Yes. Well, even in high school, I was always the person who was on social media. I was always taking selfies with people at my school, to the point where they were like, why? But they were also like, you
don't get it yet.
I was like, you don't get it yet. And also I would always do photo shoots with my friends for fun.
Okay.
There came a time when I was taking so many photos with friends where I had like a certain pose, and I would do like the peace sign, and everyone, it was a thing.
I still do that.
And I love the peace sign, but I remember I was like it was crazy. And they called it the me pose. Anyway, so I always had a passion for social media. And then I transitioned, and I used actually social media as a tool for discovering my name that I wanted to choose, discovering my style, everything. And so my connection with social media deepened. And then my friend Matt Bernstein, who I mentioned earlier, and also my cousin Adam, who's a creator, they built their platforms, and I got to see them start making a difference in the world. And that was really inspiring to me. And so I just started, implementing my trans identity into my content, my very, my still very small Instagram. And I don't know, just making that happen. And then my friend Matt posted, he already had this big platform he built, and he posted saying, oh, it's Trans Day of Visibility, I think it was. Here are a few trans creators you should follow.
Yeah.
And he posted me. I had no idea. And I reached 10K. And I was like, oh my God.
Amazing.
Whoa, what? And I was just talking about this in the car on the way here. And from there on, I was like, maybe I could try. And I would test the waters with a post, and I'd be like, oh my God, I just got like 1,000 likes in 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
What? I had 2,000 followers like a month ago. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. And so, and like everything you post is an opportunity for learning, an opportunity for sharing, and for making a difference. Like every post, every story. And while that is a lot of pressure, like to put on yourself, it's also so fun. Yeah. Because I get to be like, well, how can this story post that's up here for 24 hours make a difference in some way?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because there's probably, and not by probably, there are definitely people watching from places that are more isolated. We were talking about this before, that in Los Angeles, we're very blessed to have community around us all the time. The fact that I can call you up and be like, do you want to grab a coffee, right? But I know that there's a lot of people where I'm from, or maybe in the Midwest, or places that are not as easily to find community. And I think in a lot of ways they turn to social media and they find their favorite creatives that way. And I think so, it's making a difference. It absolutely, it's saving people's lives, if I'm being honest with you, because people are seeing themselves through your lens and seeing the success that you're building, and it gives people hope. And I love your content, because also it's keeping people informed. You said something, you posted it, and I can't remember the exact quote, but I was like, I really told myself I was going to remember it, but it was like, I said something like, there's no hatred if there's education, or something. Yeah. Like, something of like, okay, honestly, like I write all of these, of course, but like sometimes I'm so in the moment and I come up with it, and then I'm like, oh wow, that just happened. Yeah. I just wrote that. You're like, so yeah, like
something to the effect of the best way to fight hatred or bigotry is with education and with storytelling is huge. And I love the term storytelling because it adds emotion and it also adds experience, and no one can argue with someone's experience.
Absolutely.
So I think that's also a really effective way. Yeah, education, storytelling.
I love that. And I love your content too. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love anything
so
that's like color coded and like beautifully. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
What got you to the format of creating content that was it was informative? You have the infographics. You bring in politics. You bring in your storytelling. You bring in your personal experience. Like, how do you come up with what to share next?
Yeah, thank you. Well, my style is, of course, I mean, I'd be remiss to not mention the fact that my friend Matt, who arguably started the whole, this idea of like very aesthetically pleasing infographics that, like, he didn't invent infographics, but you know what I mean? Like with the grain and with the, and so, of course, inspired by him, but I tried to make it my own because I just really wanted to share my own thoughts. And I recently realized this because the other day found a hard drive full of old pictures of me that I thought were lost. And I had this bright blue backpack in high school and I found this bright blue laptop bag. And I remembered, oh my God, maybe my favorite color is like a beautiful, light, vibrant blue. And that's like the background of all my posts.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, maybe that is, maybe I'll claim that now. My favorite color is a light blue.
That's my favorite color too. So that's why I'm very drawn. I'm like, this is
and
perfect.
Guess what? We're women.
It's so beautiful.
Like our favorite color doesn't have to be pink.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, and so we're claiming blue.
Exactly.
We're claiming
blue.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I wonder with and we don't have to go too deep into the politics, but I'm curious, when the world is feeling heavy, what do you do to turn inward and take care of your own mental health, whether that's self-love practices? What are some of the ways that you do that?
Yeah, well, I definitely spend time with my chosen family, of course. Kind of a cliche answer, but it's so true.
Yeah.
The people where you feel like your social battery won't run out with. And also, I've been known to take breaks from social media, not from having the app, but just from posting. And so I'll just be kind of like a lurker. And I'll just, do it like that. And so I'm actually right now starting to come out of one of those moments where I haven't been posting a lot. Because sometimes I just need it. And I've been known to go like this.
Well, I think we're taught as creatives that consistency, which I do think is important. But I think if it's at the expense of your mental health, then what's the point? And I think for me, I was experiencing that last year where my burnout was just so unreal, where I was like, I need to slow down. I was on the road for like 10 months last year. So
because you're always traveling.
And I'm so grateful. It was like an amazing year. But at the same time, I realized I was like, I need to slow down. And I also want to create relationships here in LA. And so, no, but it was a good pivot. And it's like you said, taking care of those little moments and kind of like regrounding yourself is so important.
Yes. And in my opinion, it's always quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think also like what you were saying, if you are putting out so much that it drains you, like that comes out in your content. And people, actually, my cousin Adam mentioned this to me before I even started. He was like, people can tell if you're not invested in your content, even if you think they can't, there's an energy about it. And so I'd rather take the break than have people realize that I'm not passionate about something.
True. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I love so much about you, and congratulations early in advance, you were the first transgender woman to be on the campaign for Covergirl, correct?
Yes.
Let's just give a moment.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
And thank you so much. It was crazy because, I know that I'm almost positive I'm not the first trans woman they've worked with. But in terms of like being in the stores and like the face of a campaign,
oh my God.
I remember which by the way, I just want to go out and say that Covergirl and Sally Hansen, who did the partnership together for that campaign, and they're under like a similar umbrella, they are some of the best brands I've ever worked with.
God.
Their team is so
I love that.
So invested. And I really don't go around saying that. And I always like speak it from the mountaintops.
Good.
And so I felt really safe with them. And I remember I shot the campaign a year before it came out. And it was me, Manny MUA, and this girl, Cece, who I never met before, but she was a beauty creator. It is a beauty creator. And then like as it was approaching time for the campaign to finally release, I was like, okay, well, I want to make a post about this. Let me see who the other trans people that Covergirl has made a face of a campaign. And I was looking and I was like, I can't find any. So I remember I messaged them and I was like, guys, do you think I'm the first? I can't find any. And they were like, I mean, I don't really know, but I think you are the first. Like, I don't really have like a backlog to look on, but I think you are the first.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And that to me is radical inclusion.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Until like a week before on my own volition.
So it wasn't like they made this big point to be like, almost to a point where it felt inauthentic. It was so authentic that you had to be like, wait a second.
I was like, wait, am I
Should we check the history books? Like,
yes. I was like, because I was almost certain that I was not the first. I was like, I want to give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
And I was like, wait, what? And they were like, yeah, I think you are.
That's amazing.
Whoa.
So if you were hanging out with 5-year-old you right now and you were to be filling them in, what would you tell them in this moment?
I would tell them 5-year-old me, but even like I would go so far as to say like 21-year-old me, even though I was already out as trans, because 5-year-old me would be like, what's Covergirl? But then also would be like, would be like, wow, that's so cool. You're at a store. Like, cool. Like, can I go play with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards now? But like 21-year-old me would be like, when I was working at Ulta and Nordstrom behind a beauty counter, right before the pandemic, like I always felt like I could do more and that I had more to offer. Not that those jobs don't have so much to offer at the community level, but I wanted to speak to like a global or at least national level in some way. I knew I had that to offer. And so the fact that I can tell, or I could tell that version of me, that like, hey, by the way, we quit those jobs and now we're out here doing this. And now you worked in Ulta, but now you last year could walk into Ulta and see your face in the place you worked. What?
It's so cool.
Crazy.
It like actually gives me chills because it's like a full circle moment.
Thank you.
It's full circle. And so at the earliest age, when did you start finding a passion for beauty, for makeup, for like, tell me that. And how did you get into, I mean, then it led you to Ulta, which led you into, I guess, learning different styles of makeup.
For sure.
What got you into your beauty career?
Sure. My love of beauty.
Your love of beauty.
Well, Kylie Jenner, 2016, 2015 even, with the overdrawn lips. Didn't know if it was lip filler, but we all knew it was.
Yep.
Like, I walked into MAC at my local mall, the Topanga Mall, near Calabasas, and I was like, do you have a lip color, like a lip liner and lipstick that would match the color of my lips? And then Kylie later on, when she came out with the lipsticks, would say, I would walk in and find one that would match my lips and whatever. And I was like, well, I would do that too. And so that started like, wow, beauty can really cause transformation and make me feel better about my thinner lips. And I don't know, like there was something that I felt so aligned with that, and that helped me dive into the YouTube beauty world and just watching so many beauty creators. My first ones were Nicole Guerrero and Carly Bible, who are best friends, but also like major OG beauty YouTubers. And I would just like, I remember I wrote an article for Elle magazine where it started out with like, I'm in my dorm room and like the blanket's over me or something, and the only lights that are on at 2 a.m. are the glow from my screen of watching Nicole Guerrero videos. And like that just, I really felt connected to her and to Carly with the content that they make. And I don't know, the transformation of beauty is what got me into it. And now I'm going to try not to like have heart palpitations about this, but now I'm connected with Nicole Guerrero because I DM'd her and I told her like last year, maybe a little over a year ago. And she answered.
This is another full circle moment.
And I'm like, what do you mean? You know who I am?
Yeah.
What? And so it's like beauty has always been a source of transformation and also a source of community for me. And a way of expressing myself. And also, last thing to add about it, so I don't rant on for too long.
No, you're good.
Is my experience with beauty also parallels my experience with learning about myself. And same thing goes with my platform. I think my content hopefully just gets better and better as I know myself more and more. And I get more confident with what I post online and in my makeup looks and with my features, more confident in my photo editing skills. I don't know, just it's all parallel.
Well, it's all your self-discovery, right?
Yes,
and I think that's what I love that. I love that because it's also the beauty industry is constantly changing. It's constantly being updated. There's new trends constantly. And I'm always wondering what's the next trend that's going to make me even feel more like myself because the baggy jeans are already helping. So I'm like, I don't know what's coming up next, you know?
Oh, that reminds me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No,
see, you know, we're talking about beauty. So, oh my God. Okay. Before I was ever a creator, I was lucky enough, and I am lucky enough to know someone who worked at Elle magazine before I was ever writing for them. And I was like 2 years into my transition, and she said, you know, we're doing this project about how there's this new trend of natural makeup beauty where like not really any foundation and not really any makeup at all, but just like no makeup.
Okay.
And we wanted to talk about how if you don't fit into the cis heteronormative idea of what beauty is, how do you feel about, you know, diving into this no makeup trend when like it's made for people who already fit in.
Sure.
So in that lens. And it was so interesting because I always felt like I wanted to wear more makeup or I needed to wear more makeup as armor.
Is it almost like would you go as far to say that it's similar to like a gender role at that point where you're like dressing yourself and trying to present yourself almost for male validation, not because you actually want it, but it's because we've been taught that and bred that we're supposed to look, act, and be this certain way in order to be validated by men and whatever their standard is of beauty. Like the beauty industry has almost been reclaimed itself a little bit, where women are now like, no, I want to do this for me, not first because I'm a little man, you know what I mean? And I think it's interesting because I feel like maybe 10, 15 years ago, fashion and beauty was more for the male gaze.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's true, but that's how I see it as well. Do you feel like that's a similar?
I do. I think that I like what you said about how much, I love the word reclamation. I think it's such a cool word to say too.
It's so fun.
But like there has been such a reclaiming of this idea of like wearing makeup for the male gaze is no longer the thing. And if you do, like, okay, like that's for you, but like that's not what beauty is about anymore, or, you know, we could arguably ever was, but it became into a male gaze thing. There was a sort of weird twist at the time in 2018 when that like project was going on with Elle, where the no makeup started becoming the male gaze version, like, because now, you know, like when you show a guy a picture of a girl and he goes like, see, that's the kind of like, no, like I like girls with no makeup,
and that girl's like head to toe
and I'm like, okay, so that's the new standard. But then like before it was like we need to like contour our features to make whatever. And so I've found a lot of power and pride in like sculpting my face to be more feminine for me and doing my eyeliner a certain way for me. And oh my God, I'm just gonna go on a tangent now.
No, I love it.
Like I've never talked about this publicly yet. Just in terms of how I view self-expression and gender and all of these things, is that I have a bunch of private Pinterest boards just for me, and I have the ones I really focus on are two. One is called Inspirations and one is called Me.
Okay.
And like, I feel like those can overlap a lot. But the Inspirations is like, okay, I see this, I love it, I like it. I like, you know, maybe I want to try on that outfit one day or whatever it is. And or sometimes it's fictional characters that I just really look up to. And then the Me Pinterest board is like, it could literally be a photo of a rat in a dress. And I'm like, oh, that's me. And like, I can't explain it to you, but like, that's literally me.
But it's an energy. You're like, that's, I'm drawn to it.
And to me, like that energy is gender and that energy is self-expression. And so like, there'll be like, I'm a huge Star Trek fan and there'll be like Star Trek memes in there. And also like, next to like, me. And next to like, of like a photo of a girl with like beautiful eyeliner. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, I think that's also the beautiful part about being so uniquely human, right? That you're not just one thing, right? There's like there's a bajillion things that make up who you are, right? And I think that it's so great that you can have a beautiful makeup aesthetic next to a rat in a dress.
It's
Also,
funny 'cause I
shout
don't
out
think
to
I have a rat in
Pinterest.
a dress like on my thing, but like I know that if I saw it and I felt like it was me, I would put it there. Yeah. Like,
Well, you're gonna go look for it now.
yeah, I'm gonna go look.
Rat
Yeah.
Pinterest. But that's
Like,
the great thing about
hey,
Pinterest.
Pinterest, you have
Yeah.
a rat. Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yeah.
And if not, I'm sure AI can figure out something. We'll
Yeah.
make it happen. Either way, the me board has to happen.
Yes. Yes.
That's hilarious. Well,
Yeah.
I'm curious if you've seen the beauty industry changing over time, and what direction do you hope
absolutely.
that it continues to change in?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there's so many avenues. I think with racial inclusion, I think with gender inclusion, which is so funny because, like, it's weird how sometimes conservatives can flip this around, because when my Covergirl thing came out and Manny was a Covergirl with me, I remember he posted about how much hate he was getting for, like, you're a man coming into a woman's space. And it's like, makeup is for everyone.
Yeah.
And first of all, when did like this radical inclusion of all genders? Yes, he happens to be a man, but like we're going towards this fact that beauty's for everyone, but then they're twisting it around. And so like they're like,
They get upset over everything.
do you want to get into that? Because we can. So racial inclusion, gender inclusion, in terms of like more men in makeup and more men in the beauty space, also more non-binary people, gender expansive people, trans people. And I think that it's becoming the standard.
Okay.
Like, you know, there's that girl on TikTok, her name is Gloria, I think.
Yes.
I literally like, I have like personal, like I have the privilege of like, typically there are shades for my skin tone at the beauty store, but I'm so invested in the fact that like we need to find her perfect shade right now.
Yes,
I'm like, yes, we need, and like
she's been on a search for it.
on a search for it. Yeah, and when she finds the right one, I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh yes, that blends right in with your skin.
Yeah.
And like, and then she puts on one that's on like gray and like a little pinky tone. I'm like,
throw it away.
Throw it
in
away.
the trash.
If I want anything
DM their
from that
marketing
brand,
team.
yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, yeah. And so, it's been really incredible to see. And again, speaking to Covergirl, Sally Hansen, they do that just because.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And I'm like,
amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love them.
I would be curious too, because I know a lot of your content is a beautiful blend between beauty, fashion, and politics and activism. How would you say, because to me, the older I get and the more involved I am in travel and LGBTQ plus community, everything is political. I don't care what anyone says. Everything is political. And people who say I'm not into politics, I'm like, then you must be under a rock, because everything you look at, touch at, listen to, see is political. I'd be curious what your opinion is on how the beauty industry is political.
Oh my God, beauty is so political, because we even go into the idea of what is considered beautiful and who started that. And well, I mean, we probably know that the people who started that are white, cis, straight people who came to this land and were like, so that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that there was no room for gender expansion, no room for a race, anything other than white, no room for anything.
Yeah.
And so beauty is inherently political, just in the way that we look at beauty.
Yeah.
And then I think makeup, just as an art form, can be used. You don't have to have a strong like trans flag makeup look, although I do love those, for makeup to be political, because I wear makeup sometimes for me and sometimes as an armor for when I go out in the world. And that's inherently political because I feel like, you know, yes, I love how I look in makeup and I love how I feel in makeup, but sometimes I need an armor to go out there and face the people who might not like me.
Yeah.
And that's inherently political, because who am I facing? Probably the conservatives.
Yeah.
And the Trumpies.
Yeah.
God, that word, I'm like shaking about it. I'm like,
you know how, and whenever you watch TV and there's like a profanity, like, beep, like, we'll put it over that. Beep,
Yeah.
Like,
please do
turn it into profanity.
Yeah.
No,
oh
but
my God.
and it's true, and it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, that there's this conscious level of safetiness. Like, we are consciously always, as women, just always on alert. And I don't think that I hope that a lot of times, our male counterparts don't necessarily have to have that on alert 24/7. It's like you said, it's if you go to the grocery store, if you are out too late at night, if the sun goes down, if you're walking alone, if you don't have your friends. And I feel like just existing as a woman is inherently political.
Absolutely.
And then you have all the other layers to politicize on top of that. And just, us being in the queer community, our existence alone. I don't want to be political, but you're politicizing my breathing, my life, right? So it's like, I don't know.
I'm so glad you mentioned this. And I know we're probably going to close out soon. So I'm glad I'm like throwing this in.
You're good.
But recently, and I posted this on my Instagram, this woman came up to me outside of my like daily coffee shop, Alfred Coffee. Shout out to the baristas there, because they're like my best friends there too every day. And I was walking through and I saw this woman talking to the bagel truck outside, and I heard her say something about being Jewish, and I was like, and this ties into being trans too. I was like, an identity, and I was like, okay, well, while I'm walking by, I'll just eavesdrop. I'm like, okay. And I was just walking by, and she was saying the craziest things about Judaism to this like bagel truck who, I mean, they are Jewish owned. And I remember I stopped and I was like, I'm going to stop you there. And I didn't talk to her. I talked to the employees at the truck. And I was like, I'm born and raised Jewish. Please ignore everything she's saying that is coming at you. She turns to me. She says, you're not Jewish, you're trans. Like flat out. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, first of all, I just like walked up here.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't have makeup on, I'm in a hoodie, but like, what does this have to do with me being trans? And like, just goes back to this idea of like walking out of every day and being like, do I have to put armor on or do I not? But then, and I was like, what? And I was like, I am Jewish though. And she was like, no, because like my religion, like the Jewish religion, she claims to be Jewish, but she was preaching very anti-Jewish things. Yeah. Like saying, yeah, but like our religion doesn't condone cutting off your body parts to like whatever, and like doesn't condone taking up the space of women. And she said, putting real women in hospice, and I was like, what does that mean? Yeah. And I was like, go to any Jewish space that's like truly about Jewish values, and you'll see the gays kissing everywhere. You'll see like the pride flags. You'll see Jews in the pride parades. You'll see everything. Yeah. And like any place that the Jews truly call home is accepting of queer people. And I told her, yeah, go find those, baby. And then I started filming, and she walked away.
Of course. It's so fascinating to me, and before, we go into it, it's like, what's fascinating is I've never, ever, ever woken up a day in my life and said, I want to be hateful today. I've never woken up and been like, time to be hateful. Like, where is this? I don't know. To me, being angry is so much more consuming all my energy to hold on to anger. Yes. I just don't understand. It truly, and it bothers me too, because I also, I hate that you have to always feel like you have to be on guard and protecting yourself. And your light and your energy is so beautiful. And the minute I met you, I really was like, I want to be friends. Like, so honestly, and then also I think it speaks to your character that you immediately walked up and defended them. I think that is, it speaks to your integrity as well.
I was more worried about the employees having a very positive view of the Jewish people. Yeah. And again, like I was passionate about it before, but especially the last few years, I've been like, oh my God, I need to hop in here. Yeah. But I'm so glad you mentioned, because that is a great like tie-in for everything we talked about, is that I think my answer to even moments like that where it's very confrontational is speak from being calm, storytelling, and education. Sure, there's like defensiveness in that because she came at me. Yeah. But speaking from that, and also I think I get this quality from my dad, my biological dad of the two that I have. And he's very cool, calm, and collected in all scenarios. You're like nodding. Yeah. Very like almost to a fault. Like I remember when the fires were happening and I was like, okay, like we'll pack up, to my roommate, I was like, okay, we'll pack up, but like, let's like chill for a second. We have our bags ready. Same thing with this. I'm like, you can come at me. Yeah. And you can hear it in the video. I'm like, yeah, I am trans. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. And I think that's also an answer. Yeah. About how to combat this stuff. Yeah. Because with, educating, storytelling, coming at it in a calm way. Yeah. Because, I was saying earlier, anger on both sides now are just coming out ahead.
Well, I just really think that is the reaction they're hoping to get as well. They're really hoping to get a rise out of
Yes.
people, and they're really wanting to wake up and make confrontation. And whenever you come at it from a very calm, educated standpoint, once they realize they've been outmatched argumentatively, they're like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, and also they think that like what they think they're being they think they're fighting toward the good of people when they usually when they say these things they're like saying like yeah like the trans people can't be allowed in because you cut off your body parts. I'm like, you think that you're saying the right thing, you're not.
Yeah.
And like that's where education comes in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
well, I adore you. I love you, and I'm so happy that you're leaving such an impact on the world. And speaking of, that would be like one of my last questions.
Yes.
What impact do you hope to have?
Oh my God.
When you look back 80 years from now and you look back on everything that you brought to this world, what impact do you want to leave?
The impact I want to leave is that first of all, any one person, this is so cliche, but any one person that comes up to me or messages me saying that, I've helped them in some way, I'm like, really? Like, that's like, so that's enough. But I also think I want to leave the mark that we are all coming from the same place, which is humanity and human experience. And the way that we've been taught and brought up are the reasons why we come head to head. And so if I can create a space or cause or inspire people to be more collected and be more collective in their thinking and sit down across from each other and have conversations like this, job done.
Yeah.
I can go happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you're doing it. So congratulations already. All right. So at the end of every episode, I do these funsy questions because we get deep, and then I'm like, okay, let's leave on a little happy note,
Yes.
Okay, funsy questions.
Okay.
Let me see if my things are sticking to
I love the note cards.
I didn't even use them. I've literally just been like obsessing with your conversations. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, funsy question. What's the most ridiculous beauty trend that you secretly love? The most ridiculous one.
Okay, I understand why the whole feathered laminated brow thing happened.
Okay.
I understand it. I think it went a little too far, but I understand it. And I think that overdrawn lips, sue me, are never going to go out of style. I will draw halfway up to my nose. And yes, you might be able to see it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got lip filler. And I'm going to keep overdrawing how much I want.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Period.
Whatever.
But whatever.
How does it impact you?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's
Anyway.
the whole point. That is literally the title of this episode. How does this impact? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not to get passionate, but yeah.
That's why I get my lips filled. It's fine.
Yes.
You
my
should
God.
see. I did not have an upper lip before I got these bad
I had
boys,
negative
so
lips. I got like 3 syringes over the course of like a year, and it looked like I had normal too big
No,
lips.
literally,
Like
when I
normal
first
to
got mine done, they were so bruised because there was no lip. It would literally, like, my lip would tuck into my teeth.
Oh my
It
God.
was crazy.
Like, oh my God.
So I feel more affirming of my own lip now, but that's good.
Yes.
Okay, what is one petty hill that you will die on?
Petty hill?
Petty hill. So, like, for example, when people say espresso, like the espresso, I'm like,
Right.
I've never done that more than in this interview. I don't know why I keep doing
No,
that.
I love it. I love it. You know what's so funny? And like never, like anyone who's watching, if you have a trans friend, don't make this joke to them. If they want to make this joke, they can. But like sometimes, like if I feel the need, I'm like, I used to have testosterone in my veins. I can fight you. Like, or like, like, yeah, sure. But like, I don't have it now, but it used to be there. So yeah, which is not even like scientifically correct, but it's just funny.
It is funny. You can say it.
Yeah, I can say it.
No one
I can
else
say
can.
it. Obviously, it's not factually true, but it's funny. A hill that I will die on. If you make fun of anyone who for liking what they like.
Yeah. Wait, what is up with that?
What is up with that? Like for me, I had a friend. Oh my God, I know we're like done. I had a friend that you can like cut some of my like ranting for this. Okay, but. Like I remember mentioning I loved Star Trek and I grew up loving Yu-Gi-Oh! And I got my name from Madison Beer, and her music like is like speaks to my soul. I can't explain it. If I'm ever in a bad mood, play a song by her and I'm fine. And I remember he was like, well, you seem to always make like, your weird things like just at least a little less weird. And I'm like, yes, but like the way you just said that, like why do you care if they're weird or if like, why do you care about your image so much?
Also, what does weird even mean? What's weird?
aren't like
What's normal?
Yeah, but like aren't we as queer people inherently a little weird?
Yeah.
Technically?
Or we're at least more open about it. Everybody's weird. We're just more vocal about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's a callback to the beginning when you said, I'm going to call out my insecurities before you do, so you can't make fun of it. And that is the full circle moment of the whole episode, and I'm here for it.
Yes, exactly.
I'm here for it.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, well, this is your camera. If you can let everyone know where to follow you, what your handle is, how they can follow your upcoming projects, all the things.
Oh, thank you. So my Instagram is my main thing. It's at Madison Werner. It's like my last name is like Warner Brothers, but with an E instead of an A. It's German. Madison Werner. And then everything else is like TikTok is like Madison Wern.
Wern. Okay.
Because someone else took the other thing.
No.
Yeah. So that's me.
Wern.
And I hope to see you there. And if I don't, that's okay. But I hope to see you there. And we have fun.
Yes.
Kind of. When it's not serious.
We get weird, and I like it.
We get weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. We overdraw lips.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for
you
coming
so
and hanging out. This
much.
has
Thank
been so
you.
fun. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you sharing everything with me. This
Thank
is
you for
amazing.
having me share. This
Oh my
is
God.
so cool.
And that's a wrap on this episode of She Comes With Baggage. If you love this conversation, please make sure to follow She Comes With Baggage on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content and behind-the-scenes moments. And if you're tuning in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other audio platform, please don't forget to leave a review. I love hearing from you, and your support helps keep these conversations going. And just remember, if you are carrying any baggage, you're not alone, and we're all more alike than we might realize. See you soon.